Hi my douchies, welcome back to the Alchemize podcast. My name is Destiny, I'm your host, and I use the internet as my personal journal where I talk about whatever I want. So today I wanted to speak about boredom. That's it, boredom. Why did I want to speak about boredom? Because I made a video last year about trying to consume less and create more. Now I've got the create more part down because I'm making videos, I'm writing my and I'm just trying to be creative in general. But what I still am having trouble with is the consuming part. I spend so much time on my phone. It's ridiculous, and frankly, it's not really good for my mental health. I can literally tell when my dopamine receptors are just like getting fried and I'm losing the will to live. But I can't stop. I can't put my phone down for whatever reason. My brain just wants the stimulation. Now, I think I am starting to understand why I can't let it go. My excuse is that I'm 24 and I'm Gen Z, which means that it's my birthright to be addicted to my device. No, I'm kidding. Basically, I noticed that the addiction just comes from the stimuli or the lack thereof of the outside world. I'm so used to, me and the rest of my generation. We're so used to the constant stimulation that we feel when we're watching TV, watching YouTube videos or TikToks, or being on Instagram, scrolling, the endless infinite scroll. There's always new content, always something to watch, always something to keep you engaged. And for me, I noticed that the simple things in life just aren't doing it for me anymore. For example, I'm sitting at work, and while I'm waiting for a new tab on my computer to load, I grab my phone. Why do I do that? Can I sit for like 3 seconds and just wait for the tab to load? No, I reach for my phone and then I spend at least like a minute or two scrolling on TikTok or something. Please, none of my coworkers watch this. No, but yeah, so every time I wait for anything to happen, I feel the urge to like reach and grab for my phone. And it's concerning because those moments of boredom have become a mental emergency that I always feel like I need to fix. Instead of being able to sit quietly and just enjoy the stillness for a moment, I have to put a new input to keep my brain busy. And so when I do have a moment where I need to sit down at a table and have a conversation with someone and things fall silent for like 30 seconds, I also have that urge. Instead of thinking of new ways to keep the conversation going and being creative and having a creative way to solve this problem, I just reach for my phone. And it's concerning. It's becoming concerning for me, especially with having all this knowledge now about how my nervous system is severely affected by my chronic phone use. I'm really trying to dial it back, but it's been hard. And I think the biggest thing that I need to mentally keep in mind is that I think I'm also very, very uncomfortable with being uncomfortable, and that is dangerous because uncomfortability is the gateway to growth. Nothing ever happens in your comfort zone, and if a quiet moment in a conversation or the loading of a tab is the threshold of the uncomfortability that I can tolerate, then I'm stopping myself. I'm capping my growth right there, at like 3 seconds of uncomfortability, which is insane. And I'm saying to myself right now, like I'm basically having this conversation at myself, but also to all of you, because my viewership is mostly people around my own age. So if I'm struggling with this and you're struggling with this, we gotta hold each other accountable here, because uncomfortability is exactly what you need to grow. And if you can't handle being uncomfortable, then you're not going to grow. And being bored is uncomfortable, but only when you are bored and uncomfortable is when you come up with creative ways to solve your problems, or reasons to not be bored, or things that you can do that fulfill your life and make your life more full. For example, when I was little, I grew up mostly on my own. Not on my own, like as an only child, before my sister came along when I was 8. So from 0 to 8, I needed to entertain myself because, your parents aren't always available to play with you. And so I would go in my room and I would lay in my bed and I just started to play pretend. I loved playing pretend. That was my favorite thing to do. I used to love pretending that I was a superhero. I loved watching Totally Spies, so I was like the fourth member. I loved pretending like I was going on a mission in like cool places, but it's just me in my room and a 6-year-old's imagination allowing herself to be bored and just being there. Like, I think 6-year-olds nowadays don't really have that luxury anymore, the luxury of being bored. Like, I was hanging out with my youngest cousin. I think she's like 8, 9 right now, and they were all hanging out at my grandma's house, and I noticed that she has a phone or a tablet or something, and that's what they do. They just stay on their devices. And I don't want to sound like that boomer that's like, yeah, the kids are always on their devices, but I'm the kids that's always on their devices, and it's becoming a problem. So to bring it back to me, I can just tell that it's getting to a point where it's not fun anymore. It used to be fun. It was a fun distraction, but it's not fun anymore. Another point that I wanted to make was whenever I'm uncomfortable, I reach for my device. It could be waiting, it could be silences, it can also be emotional uncomfortability. So for example, when I am having an argument, or when I'm experiencing sadness, when I'm experiencing grief, when I'm experiencing, any of those negative emotions, I reach for my phone because that's my emotional regulator, my emotional pacifier, as I heard another creator say in another video. Emotional pacifier is like a really good description for it. It's like I take my phone and I forget that I'm sad, which doesn't feel healthy at all. Like, there's normal and good ways to regulate my nervous system, like going outside, going for a walk, moving my body, allowing that energy to flow through me. But instead I lay in bed, go on my phone. Like, it's interesting because what I think is helping me to feel better is actually making me feel worse at the same time. But I'm so emotionally dependent on it that I won't stop. Like, it's just like an addict of any kind, a drug addict, an alcohol addict. Now we have phone addicts or social media addicts, and I'm definitely one of them. And no matter how much what you're doing is killing you, if that's still the solution to your problems, or the only solution that you have to your problems, then it's gonna be an issue. And I don't want to be emotionally dependent on a device. I want to be emotionally dependent on myself. I want to know that I'll be okay if my life comes crashing down because I can regulate my nervous system on my own. That also goes for other stimuli like food, for example. It's also something that I really use to cope with emotionally. But yeah, I don't know if there's really a lesson here because I haven't figured it out for myself yet, but I have been really preoccupied with this thought, and I wanted to share it. I wanted to share it because it's something that I'm deeply bothered by, and I hope that in a few months I can come back and tell you guys that I've conquered it and actually tell you how I did it. I mean, I have a few theories of what I should do, but I haven't really accomplished them yet, so I don't want to share them quite yet. But yeah, that's this season's hill. That's this season's uphill battle that I'm trying to conquer. So join me on the journey. See you on the other side. I think that's it for this episode, my douchies. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Please leave a like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys liked in the comments. And yeah, I hope you guys all have a wonderful Sunday and a wonderful rest of your week. Bye, my douchies.